Welcome to my kitchen. In a previous video, I made pizza dough and stuffed it in the freezer for later. Well, today's later. So I'm going to make pizza. It is going to use some non-traditional kind of ingredients, but the basic premise remains the same. You've got your pizza dough, which is the crust for the pie. You're going to have some kind of sauce. In this case, it'll be pesto. You'll have toppings. I'm going to be using a mix of salmon, green peppers, and onions. And you'll have some cheeses. And then it goes into a hot oven for 15 or so minutes. Comes out and you've got delicious, lovely pizza. So I've done a few of the things in advance just because chopping up stuff isn't all that entertaining or enlightening. I'm assuming you can do that part. And obviously I've already made the pizza dough. So the first thing we're going to do is grab that dough that I made earlier. It's already been out and thawed. So I'm going to turn it out onto my board with a little bit of flour and get started stretching it out into shape. Now, since part of the shtick for this whole channel is that I'm just a regular person aside from the deep chemical knowledge, I'm not going to be able to be doing the tossing and the fancy rolling and all those tricks. It's just super basic and something that I hope you'd be able to do yourself in the kitchen. So let me get over here and get started making this stuff. So you're going to want to use flour. So sorry for all the anti-gluten types. I'm just going to throw that down there. My flouring technique is not as good as the people on TV, but you get the idea. Now, all I got to do is get this dough out of the plastic baggie and onto the board. And here we go. Come on, guys. Work with me. There we go. So I'm going to put a little more flour out just to make sure that the surface is all nicely covered for that. And I don't want the dough to stick at all because that was a crucial part where I put it in the oven. I'm going to need it to actually slide off of this thing. So I'm going to use my bench scraper to just clear that. Okay. So I've stretched the dough out. I won't be needing the flour anymore. Now what I will need is the pesto sauce, and I'm going to need a spoon so I can scoop it out and kind of spread it smoothly onto the surface here. And before I do that step, I always like to put a little bit of olive oil on it just to give it a nice little touch. So the bread has been sauced. I'm going to put toppings on after I put this back where it belongs. For the toppings, I used salmon. You either want to cook it all the way through or a decent amount of the way through. It'll finish cooking in the oven, and how much it's already been cooked before you put it in determines how well done it will be when it comes out. Also had onions and peppers. That's just pretty basic. With the cheeses, I shredded up some myself with the microplane for the hard grating stuff. For the mozzarella, those strips come from me cutting up some deli sliced cheese. Either use deli sliced or a brick, because if you use the bag stuff, then you're going to have the stabilizers that they add to keep it from clumping back together, and it just seems to give it an inferior product. This last thing I added was some herb feta, which is just feta cheese, with herbs on it that I would sit in olive oil until it's time to take it out and use it. So I've got all my ingredients on the pizza. The oven is already beeped, indicating that it's at 425. I'm going to put this in there on a pizza stone at 425 for 15 minutes. And when we come back, I'll be able to take it back out and we'll have pizza. Yay! So that's that. Welcome back. It's been almost 15 minutes. The oven will beep at some point, and I'll be able to take the pizza out and give it a few cuts. There we go. So let's see what we've got here. So I'm going to need the paddle because I've got to get this thing out. And before I do that, let me safety first. Oh, that is hot. All right. Now, let's see if I can't make this work. I know I can. There we go. We've got pizza. Woohoo! Alright. I'll take that scraper off to the side. Shut that back in. Take that off. So, while it's cooling, I'm going to go ahead and grab a nice cutter so I can cut this thing. I'm also going to finish it with some fresh cracked salt and pepper, and then I'll have pizza. Yeah, so join me on camera too. So let's a little bit of sea salt. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd also be throwing some garlic on it, but recall that the pizza dough recipe I use to make those 4 balls is this one, and I threw in garlic into the dough itself. So you've already got a little bit of that garlic flavor there. Plus, it was pesto, which also has garlic in it. So I'm obviously a garlic fan, but I'm going to lay off it a little bit for this one. So now that that's done, I can go ahead and cut this into a few slices and enjoy the fruits of my labor. So let's do it this way so everything's laying flat. So I'm going to put a nice longitudinal cut, and then I'll just make slices this way. And there we go. We've got pizza. So, pesto pizza with a salmon, onions, and peppers, and some interesting cheeses. So, it's that first slice. You can see the crust there, and I'm gonna eat up now. Ooh, tasty.